Okay, so in this video, I'm going to teach you some of the ways on which you can, utilize something called version control systems. Okay, so you could, so let me just pull out one of the code, and I will tell you what is version control system. Okay, just to help you, typically it will just help you to understand as in what are these version control systems. So the point which is I'm talking about is mostly related to maintaining software projects. Okay, so what I'm talking about is typically uh, yeah, VCS. So we call it VCS. Okay, this stands for it stands for your version control systems. Okay, it stands for version control systems. So it would be version. The next one will be control. The last one will be system. Okay. So typically, uh, typically VCS stands for version control system. Okay, so VCS in here stands for version control system. Okay. Now there are many kind of version control systems when we talk about in software development. I think the oldest one was called SVN. If I remember it correctly, the oldest one was called SVN. Okay, this was the oldest one, of course. Then we had something called Mercurial. Okay, so we had something called Mercurial. This was another version control system, right? So I think that is its name, okay, Mercurial. And the after the Mercurial, we had something called which is most widely utilized right now. It is your Git. Okay. It is most widely utilized right now. Okay. So Git is the most widely used version control system in here. And there may be more version control systems apart from these ones. Okay, apart from these ones, there could be more. But uh, you know, when we when you see when you typically when you talk about version control systems, it is a way to maintain your code. Okay, and now people may feel that it is quite being having a version control system will have you you will have a lot of control in what you want to keep in your software development and what you don't want to keep in your software development. And even if you're working alone, suppose if you're even if you're working alone, it gives a kind of a good organization for your software project development so that you do not mess things up. Okay. And of course, if you are submitting these projects to, let's say, suppose a teacher, a professor, or somebody else, then what happens that when these people when they check the code, they can also see how the development was made, okay, and whether it has any kind of technical debt or not. So typically, a technical debt would be we call a technical debt is uh, unoptimized code, which actually slows down the further development of the project. Okay, and there is a various caveats in that one, but there is a technical debt, then we have to resolve it sooner or later, or the production of the maintaining or even the development of the of the project in the future will be even greater or higher. Right? So we will not talk about like the technical depth right now. We're just going to cover this SVN multi-level Git. These SVN multi-level Git are like the VCS, the version control system, right? So the version control system is your these three which we have talked about, and we are going to discuss in detail how to use Git. So typically, this one Git we are going to discuss in detail in this one because Git is most widely used in most of the Git hosts. Okay, so let me get another page. So typically, in the third section of the VCS, which is version control system, we have Git. Now, when we have Git, this VCS uh, has some service providers as well. Okay. Now, when I say it has service providers, okay, when I say it's a service provider, it is called Git host. Okay. It is called Git host. Okay. Service providers of the Git is called Git host. So, what does these service providers do? Typically, what they do? What do these Git hosts do? So, Git hosts typically they will provide you a place to keep your code. So, typically, it will provide you a place to keep your code. It provides provides a place to keep your code. Okay. Okay, let me just erase this one. Typically, like I do not have any touch pens or other things, so this is why I'm utilizing this one. But you make use of whatever you have. Okay, uh, so here we are. I do not have much money to like spend most of the things. Like, so yeah. Right. So okay, so Git host typically provides a place to keep your source code, right? Typically, it does that. Now, there are many kinds of source code which is available to you. Okay. So there are many kind of source code that is available to you. So the most popular one, which you know right now, it is your GitHub. Okay, it is your GitHub. The second one, which you will find in popularity within the software industries, will be your Bitbucket. And of course, the third one will be your GitLab. It will be your GitLab. Now, see, apart from these three, because most of the like these three, the first one is totally like they have a commercial incentive in having the code and giving the features to like provide the services to maintain your code. Same is for the Bitbucket and third one, GitLab. It is like two part in this one is like half of it, half of like one part is community, one part is open source So it is community driven and it is developed by the community itself. And other half is like your the you know the paid one, which is like your it will provide you much more services and hosting services, so that you know you have better features or facilities to maintaining your code base along with whatever your company or enterprise has. Okay, so whatever your company or enterprise has, it will typically help you with that. So that is again, that is not fully open source. You have to pay for those things. And if you want to like host GitLab on your own servers, you can do that because it is the community version of GitLab is like open source, so you could also host it in your own servers. Of this one. Apart from these, there are some others as well. Some others as well, which we will actually look into and we will utilize them because these three are the mainstream ones. These three are the mainstream ones, and I do recommend to actually keep a mirror in GitHub. Keep a mirror in GitHub and maintain that always. Always maintain a mirror in GitHub because that is the most popular repository which you have. Not a repository, but the most popular Git host we have, and it gets indexed by Google, Bing, and other search engines as well. Right. So that is there. Let's move a bit. Right. So now the fourth one with what we have in here is here typically called code word. If I'm spelling this correctly, hopefully I'm spelling this correctly. This brand name, not butchering it or something. Good code word. Okay. It's called code word. So this is, I think it has an S. I don't remember correctly right now, but yes, it's called code word. Okay. It's called code word. So typically, this is also one of the Git hosts. It is also a Git host. It's also a Git host. Like the brand name, because I do not remember the exact name of this one. Typically, due to one reason is that this is not reliant on marketing or for-profit things. So they don't market themselves typically. Okay, so they don't market themselves typically, and they are a non-profit. That is why, like even the brand name, you will sometimes you will forget something. Because it is not advertised and other things. So this is also like a Git host. This is also a Git host. This is also a Git host. Okay, this is also a Git host. So typically we will understand like how to work with codes work. Okay, I will like I will I have typically I wanted to show you in GitHub and how to do those things, but in YouTube as well as in other places on the internet, there are many tutorials on how to do that. Right. So I'm not going to typically uh, go into the depths of how to use Git and GitHub. Like there are a lot of features available in there, and there are uh, typically there are um, ways and multiple tools to ease your things in there. However, I'm going to tell you like how to use Codework, and when I'm when I'm telling you to like how to use Codework, this is typically for the motive because you would say like why are you using this one because there is two or three key points in here why I'm using this one. The first point is that typically what happens is if you are using these branded stuff, you would not actually know the actual technology behind how these things work. So you will be reliant by the services provided by these commercial companies, and you will not be able to understand how actually the technology works. That is why I'm going to tell you like how to use Codeberg. And afterwards, if you want, you could utilize GitLab, Bitbucket, GitHub, whatever you want to utilize, you can utilize on that, right? So that is there. Okay, so now let's get another page for us, right? Now, okay, so let's go to where? Okay, so let's go to the desktop. Let's go to the desktop. Like, let's go to the desktop, and we are going to, work with the desktop right now in here. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. Right. And hopefully my voice is not breaking because speaking too loud, and it should be balanced. Just, lower the volume of it. Okay. Uh, maybe I should end this one. Uh, yeah, I could just end this one, right? I could just name this video as Introduction to Version Control Systems and What Are They? Right? That could be the one of the good um, video title. Right? 15 minutes already, though. Yeah.